Knives Out, written and directed by Rian Johnson, is a classic whodunit that follows the Thrombey family after the patriarch of the family mysteriously passes away. The Thrombey family is a wealthy family in large part due to the patriarch played by Christopher Plummer that becomes rich due to the mystery novels he wrote that became massive hits. However, his untimely death has caused a lot of turmoil, and Detective Blanc, played by Daniel Craig, is investigating the case. As new details emerge, the plot thickens. Alright, so Knives Out always appealed to me, mostly due to the cast, I'd say. I mean, I saw the trailers and I always felt like they looked good, sort of, like a live action Clue or something. But I was excited to see what Rian Johnson could do with a cast as good as this one. I mean, anytime I see a cast this impressive, I have to think to myself, the script had to have been pretty impressive to get this many talented actors on board. Thankfully, this movie exceeded all of my expectations. This is definitely one of the best films of the year and one of the most engaging films I've seen over the last few years. A large reason for that, unsurprisingly, is the performances. You can tell that each actor is truly giving their all in this film and that they've really invested themselves in bringing something unique to the character that they play and the overall dynamics of the film. Each character does play a pivotal role in how the story is actually understood, because as Detective Blanc tries to piece together the story of what happened in the events leading up to the death, you get a different story and a different perspective from each person he questions. The film is really engaging in that sense because important details are revealed slowly with each new clue and each new interpretation of the events leading up to the death. You also see the dynamics between the various characters and the relationships that, might influence how the family handles the death and the events to follow. Each actor really does give their all. I mean, unsurprisingly though, Daniel Craig is the brightest star here. I mean, Detective Blanc is a real almost caricature in a way. He has this southern drawl. He does overly dramatic, kind of silly things like sitting in the dark and smoking a cigar. He's just a funny and just real fun and engaging character. Everyone's great, as I mentioned, but Daniel Craig shines especially bright here. I think this film is also written really well. I mean, the dialogue is written well, the film is paced well, the mystery slowly unravels in a way that's satisfying for the viewer, and ultimately this is a film that, again, consistently engages you. A lot of this movie is centered around conversations between the characters, because the conversations tell you things about each character, and therefore also tell you important things about what actually happened the night of the death. Each conversation feels like it has weight to it, which is really important in a film like this. And it matters in the bigger picture, which is something that keeps you engaged and entertained consistently. Which is great, like I said, for a film that people might expect to be a bit slow going in. I can tell you that in actuality, the film never feels slow. It always feels like something important is happening on screen, and you're always inching towards some clarity into the greater mystery surrounding the death in question. The same goes for the production design as well. I mean, the house is pretty much its own character. It has such a personality to it that it plays a really important role in how the story plays out. It plays a role in the detective processes. It, also plays a role in how the characters interact with one another when they're inside it. It almost changes them in a way. What's interesting about the characters is that none of them are all that great of people. So they all have their selfish motivations and they all show you how, their true colors really actually look at various points throughout the film. And that helps make the film all the more compelling because there's drama that exists between each of them due to their immaturity, selfishness, and so forth. It also makes it so you don't necessarily have a rooting interest, which is kind of cool for a film like this. I think most people, though, are going to be pleasantly surprised with how funny this movie is, too. I mean, that was kind of marketed in the trailer, but I think you're actually going to get a little bit more than you'd expect. But I never felt like the comedy got in the way. Instead, I felt like it was a natural extension of the film and of the characters' personalities. Again, this comes down to the performances and the writing. Each actor appropriately balances their comedic side with their more serious side, and the writing uses a healthy mix between drama and comedy. But honestly, there's not too much more to say about this movie than that. It's an excellent film that I thoroughly enjoyed from beginning to end, and it's definitely one of the best films of the year. I think it should be nominated for Best Picture, and honestly, I think it will be. As for the pros cons, for the pros, I think Knives Out has an awesome cast that all deliver great performances, great production design, strong writing, and a great balance between comedy and drama. And honestly, I don't have a con for this movie. I don't have any major complaints, and I'm going to give Knives Out a 10 out of 10 and highly recommend you go check it out in theaters soon. So did you guys see Knives Out yet? What did you think of it? And if not, let me know why not. Also, let me know your favorite film of 2019. Considering this year is drawing to a close, I think it's time we consider that question. I'd give you mine, so I'm going to cop out a little bit here, but I need to start formulating my top 10 list, so I think I'm going to save it for that, not to spoil it here, just make it a little more interesting when I give you the top 10 list. That's my cop out for now, but if you ask me in the comments, I still might answer it. Either way, this is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next review.